Whoa, check this out. This just dropped and it's fire. The kind of locker room talk you hear before anyone else. The news that just hit is going straight to the heart of the Steeler Nation. We've got a new center stepping into a legendary role, a guy looking for revenge against his old team, and a huge trade rumor dropping. Are we about to see some fireworks? But before we dive into today's news, I need to get serious with you. Can you believe that almost 90% of the people who watch our stuff still haven't hit that subscribe button? You're missing out on real deal analysis, that beer-fueled locker room talk, the kind of conversation only the Steel Nation gets. Don't be that guy. Hit that button and join the troop. You know how some traditions feel like they're carrying centuries of history? The Steelers center jersey has that kind of weight. Mike Webster held it down for 15 years, then Dermontti Dawson for 13 seasons. And right after, Mordecai Pouncey took command with Big Ben for a decade. It's a throne that doesn't mess around. Now, rookie Zach Frazier has that giant responsibility on his shoulders, and it's no small thing. This guy grew up right here in West Virginia, close to Pittsburgh, watching the games on local TV. And you know who he was watching closely? Pouncey, the same guy who became a hero for the last generation. So when he got here, they didn't have to explain much, but even so, everyone in the media made sure to remind him of the weight of the job. He said it himself. I already knew the history, but they just reinforced that the standard here is on a different level. And look, you can't play around. Webster and Dawson are in the Hall of Fame with their bronze busts in Canton, Ohio. Pouncey, if all goes as expected, should join that group as early as 2026. So Frazier didn't just inherit a position, he inherited a near sacred lineage. It's like holding the steel curtain staff on the offensive line. For those who didn't see, this kid isn't just about football. He was a 4-time state champion heavyweight wrestler in high school, the kind of sport that forges discipline, strength, and explosive power. And you can see it on the field because when he needs to dig his feet in and stonewall a defender, he holds his ground like he's in a wrestling match. That brings confidence to Rodgers, who is just arriving and needs that kind of partner in the middle of the line. Last year, as a rookie, he already showed what he was made of. He started 15 games and didn't shake for a second. So much so that he won the Joe Green Great Performance Award, nothing less than the award for the best rookie on the team. Can you imagine first season and he's already being recognized with a trophy that carries the name of Joe Green, the ultimate symbol of black and gold greatness? And there's more. The coaching staff spoke clearly about his importance. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith compared the center-quarterback relationship to historic NFL duos like Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday. He made it clear, if you have a great quarterback, there's almost always a great center right there with him. And we, the fans, know that's true. To be honest with you, it brings back memories of Pouncey's partnership with Big Ben, those quick snaps in the shotgun, the confidence that the snap would never be a problem. Now Rodgers is on the other side, and with Frazier, a connection of respect could be brewing. Of course, it's just the beginning, but it smells like a good story being written. So I want to know from you, will Zach Frazier be able to keep this lineage intact, or will the pressure weigh him down? Comment below, because this conversation isn't ending here, because the next news is going to hit home for anyone who loves a good revenge story. Now think about this. Opening game, Steelers versus the Jets, and it's not just Rodgers who has that little bit of revenge in his heart. It's also Brandon Echols, our new defensive back, who played 4 years over in New York. The guy already told the press, "I've been waiting for this game since the schedule came out." He's salty. You can feel it. And honestly, that's the kind of fire we love to see. For those who don't remember, the Jets drafted Echols in the 6th round in 2021. He arrived without much hype, but quickly found a spot. Right away, he started 14 games as a rookie. He showed his stuff with tackles, interceptions, and a constant presence. Over the years, he's had 112 tackles, 16 passes defended, and 5 interceptions. Not bad for a guy who always had to fight for a spot. But as often happens in the NFL, the team that drafts you doesn't always value you until the end. In 2024, he still saw a lot of action, playing 16 games, 4 as a starter, logging over 400 defensive snaps. Even so, the Jets didn't budge to re-sign him. The result? The Steelers went and signed him to a 2-year, $6 million deal, a deal that, in my opinion, looks like a bargain. The most curious thing is that now he joins a secondary group that might be the deepest we've seen in years. Think about it. Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Joey Porter Jr., and there's still room for Echols to be the 4th corner. That's no small thing. The guy might not be a star, but his versatility can be used in various formations, nickel, dime, and even on special teams. He's the kind of player who keeps the level high when someone needs to step out. And between us, this reunion against the Jets is more than just a game. Rodgers will also be on the other side, facing his former teammates. And get this, Justin Fields, who was our backup QB last year, is now wearing green and white. He had flashes, won 4 games with us, but didn't get a firm offer. The fans were even divided, but the front office bet on Rodgers, and that was that. So imagine the scenario, Rodgers against the team that gave up on him after the 2024 fiasco, Eccles against the team that didn't want to pay, Fields trying to prove he deserved more. It's a soap opera script, my friend. And for us fans, it's pure fuel. To be honest, I like Eccles' attitude. He didn't hide anything. He said he's hyped, and that shows he's coming in focused. Of course, all the attention will be on Rodgers. That's obvious. But if Eccles snags an interception in this game, he's an instant hero in the nation. What do you think? Will he make some noise against his former teammates, or will he just be a supporting actor on this stage? Comment below, because the next news could change everything you imagine about the Steelers' offense. Look, when trade rumors start popping up, we all get a little antsy, right? And the name of the moment is Chris Godwin, veteran wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The buzz is that the Bucs are tight on cap space, need to clear salary, and might sacrifice one of their top receivers. And who pops up as a natural target? None other than him, Godwin, who could land right in Pittsburgh. Now think about this scene. Aaron Rodgers throwing to DK Metcalf on one side, Chris Godwin in the slot or on the other side, and then there's George Pickens before the trade to the Cowboys would have been in the mix. That would be a heavy arsenal. Even without Pickens, just imagining Rodgers with Godwin and Metcalf gives you a little tickle of optimism. We know Rodgers needs reliable targets, and Godwin is exactly that. Crisp routes, secure hands, clutch on third downs. Of course, it's not simple. His contract is hefty. 3 years, $66 million with $44 guaranteed. The money is a factor, but let's remember that the Steelers have already shown some audacity this offseason, bringing in names like Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf, and Rodgers himself. In other words, they aren't afraid to take risks. If Tampa really opens the door, Tomlin and company could put together a package with draft picks. And there's another thing, Godwin brings more than just stats. He's been to the playoffs, felt the pressure of a Super Bowl, and has the veteran savvy that helps in the locker room. Our offense, let's be honest, is still a work in progress. Arthur Smith is trying to get things organized, but it's missing that one target who can calm the quarterback when everything seems to fall apart. Godwin would be exactly that anchor. To be honest with you, it reminds me a lot of when we brought in veterans in other eras to bring balance. Anyone who followed Hines Ward knows the value of having a receiver who isn't afraid of contact, who fights on every short route. Godwin isn't Ward, of course, but he has that reliable toughness. And in a new offense, that's pure gold. The rumors are still speculation, but they don't come out of nowhere. Tampa has 3 top wide receivers and might not be able to afford them all. Pittsburgh needs to solidify the passing attack. The equation seems obvious. The question is, do the Steelers really have the stomach to pay that price in picks and take on that heavy contract? The fan base is already starting to be divided. Part of it dreams of Rodgers, Metcalf, and Godwin, a trio that would scare any defense. Another part fears the franchise will compromise the future by trading away picks. So, who's right? Well, we'll find that out if the phone rings. But stay tuned, because if this rumor heats up, it could change the entire destiny of our offense. And if you thought this bomb was big, just wait until you hear the next one, which involves a familiar face causing a stir outside of Pittsburgh. It's funny how fast time passes in football, right? Just yesterday, we were debating if George Pickens would mature here in Pittsburgh, and today he's in Dallas debuting for the Cowboys against the Eagles. And look, what we saw didn't surprise the black and gold nation. That classic way of his, of only turning on the motor when the ball is coming to him, showed up again. Anyone who watched knows Pickens is pure talent, but his temperament has always been a live wire. In his debut, he was targeted 4 times, had 3 catches for 30 yards, and even drew a pass interference call that led to an easy touchdown. Okay, on paper, it seems acceptable. But when the play wasn't for him, he seemed checked out. And as a blocker, embarrassing. He was avoiding contact, pulling away, almost as if saying, That's not my problem. And let's be honest, on a team that values collective effort, that's a bad look right in the first game. Now, the contrast was glaring. While Pickens received 4 targets, CeeDee Lamb had 13, my friend, and he still dropped 4 balls, more than all of Pickens' chances combined. If you think that doesn't mess with our former wideout's ego, it's because you didn't follow his drama closely here. Pickens was always extremely competitive, but when he felt sidelined, it turned into a whole drama. And you know what's worse? The game ended in a loss for Dallas, 24-20 to the Eagles, in prime time, under the bright lights, with high expectations, and in the end, Lamb failed on the decisive play. Imagine how Pickens felt watching that, barely participating, wanting more balls, and watching the team lose. It's a recipe for the guy to get salty. And to be honest with you, we already knew this script. We saw Pickens mope in games when he didn't get targets. We saw him complain on the bench. We even saw him dogging it on blocks. The Cowboys are now finding out firsthand what Steelers fans have been saying. The talent is immense, but it needs discipline and focus. If they don't handle it, it could blow up in the wrong way. Of course, we're not going to paint him as a villain. He still has the potential to be a number 1 receiver for any franchise. He's got speed, reach, and secure hands, but he also has an internal patience clock that tends to explode fast. Dallas will need to adjust the game plan, distribute more targets, and keep him involved. Otherwise, the instability appears and the atmosphere becomes toxic. So tell me, will the Cowboys manage to tame this wild horse, or will they end up experiencing the same drama we went through here? Because if this debut already smells like trouble, just imagine when a losing streak comes along. And look, if you thought this analysis was strong, just hold on, because in the conclusion, I'm going to put all these pieces together and show you the real face of this moment for the Steelers. You know what struck me the most after all this? This Steelers moment is a mix of the weight of history, a thirst for revenge, market audacity, and even the ghost of a former player showing who he really was. Zach Frazier is carrying a Hall of Fame legacy. Eccles wants to prove himself against the Jets. Godwin could become a key piece if the trade happens, and Pickens is already exposing old problems in Dallas. The truth is simple. The black and gold are in the eye of the most exciting storm in years. So comment below, because this is the home of the real black and gold nation.